You're not actually putting it on
No,
there.
but you have to trust me. Come on, puppy. It looks good.
It looks fine. No one will know.
No.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Today we are reviewing J. Kelly.
J. Kelly. J. Kelly. J. Kelly. So this film was clouded with so much mystery to me. I thought the trailer looked promising. However, when J. Kelly premiered at Venice, the reception was mixed, I would say, to say the least. And I wasn't sure what to expect with this movie, but to my surprise, I really enjoyed J. Kelly. And I was surprised by how charming I found it.
I'll be honest, I came in with the opposite experience. After viewing the trailer, I thought I was in for something that was going to be rather boring, kind of dull, run-of-the-mill Oscar bait type of thing. Something like Being the Ricardos, that's the vibes I was getting, which I personally found really bland. However, I think that actually set me up for an experience that exceeded my expectations. I found it to be really charming and entertaining. I mean, I was not bored, not 1 minute of the film.
So for those who don't know what is or who J. Kelly is, why don't you tell people about it?
So J. Kelly is George Clooney, and George Clooney is J. Kelly. I think in the movie and in real life, probably. He's a famous movie star who is experiencing an existential identity crisis, leading him to go on an impromptu trip through Europe by train.
So this movie is very much multiple films in one. It's a road movie, it's a buddy comedy, and it's a somber, reflective drama all blended together. And I am very much aware of how much J. Kelly succeeds purely off George Clooney and his undeniable charm. I thought I had seen his charm enough over the years. I thought I was immune to it by now, but I'm still a sucker for the Clooney charm. I always found that Up in the Air was his most like quintessential Clooney performance, highlighting his charm and his specific skills and qualities that he brings as an actor. However, this is officially truly the most definitive Clooney role, and it's impossible to imagine anyone else leading this film.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at the age of 64, he's as charming as ever. I think he's really funny, he's likable, he's relatable. Clooney took this character that I think might have felt unreachable, like an unreachable celebrity figure, and he made him feel human. I thought it was really intriguing and satisfying to watch, and I found myself really invested in this character's journey.
Yeah, like J. Kelly is a total vibe of a movie. Like Baumbach's style that he applies to this film was very timeless. It has the spirit of something both classic and modern. And even though J. Kelly is this sort of like melancholic 8.5 like reflective journey through an artist's life. But the film is also very whimsical, from Clooney's charm to Linus Sandgren's sun-drenched 35mm cinematography to the production design, which at times felt very Wes Anderson-y. I think this really glossy and dreamy style can make some feel like it's not gritty or like real enough, but the world I think Baumbach creates in J. Kelly, I felt it not only tied into the themes of like what is a movie and what is reality, but just aesthetically, like it was just very colorful. I thought it was really pleasant to the eye. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the world that Baumbach is creating here.
Yeah, I think it makes sense though, because this character lives a very luxe life, and in turn, the film feels very luxurious. I think that's rather meta, because there's definitely this like very Hollywood glossy feel to the film itself. So it seems just very apropos for J. Kelly's glamorous life.
Apropos. Whoa. Fancy word for a fancy movie.
Exactly. J. Kelly, I feel like he doesn't know where his life ends and where his movies begin. And it's all kind of like merged together. And I feel like Noah Baumbach's world really reflects that. Like he really created a world that reflects that. Even the real world feels like his movies.
I know one critique I did say was how this film wanted to have its cake and eat it too, trying to be both a serious character study and also this romantic love letter of sorts to cinema, which often are kind of at odds with each other. But strangely, that duality is really something that I loved about the film. Like that's something that really worked for me. And also, I think it's something that this film separates from, say, like La La Land, right? Which is all glitz and glamour. It offers hardly any brutal truths about Hollywood. And I think J. Kelly gives both sides of the coin and provides a cautionary tale about how seeking stardom can really hinder someone from even living a real life, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I don't think he was too pristine. I think he had some flaws. I mean, to me personally, it felt mostly like I was noticing more of the negative aspects of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And just also like a lot of his regret. I didn't get much of like that Hollywood romanticizing that you're talking about. What really stood out to me personally was the regret and the turmoil that he was going through. I feel like that was the bulk of the film. Another really interesting aspect of the film is the exploration of the motive behind why people become actors. I know that in acting class, that's one of the first questions you'll get asked is, why do you want to become an actor? And some actors simply desire to be famous, and
A lot of actors desire to be famous.
and oftentimes those actors with that, level of hunger and ambition are the ones that end up succeeding. But this film shows, what the price is that you actually have to pay to get to that level of fame.
Yeah. I found myself kind of relating to Jay Kelly, too, in the sense of the regret you were talking about earlier. Obviously not as a movie star, but I'm a complete romantic about film as a movie buff. And it's often impossible to separate myself from my love of film. It's like my entire identity. So on one hand, films have given me purpose and inspiration. But on the other hand, I have wondered about whether that love for film can be all like too encompassing, and has it really hindered me from living a life that's more meaningful and present. Like Jay Kelly, I wonder whether I'll reach the end of my life, think back at all the movies I saw, and think like maybe I should have watched less and lived more in the now.
In the real world.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting that you related to that, because I feel like Baumbach is clearly making something that's very personal to him, exploring his own personal relationship and his love/hate with Hollywood. But he does so in a way that felt, at least to me, very refreshing and unpretentious. Baumbach clearly has a lot of his own regrets about the sacrifices that he had to make in order to pursue his career. So that was really interesting to see.
And trust me when I say, like, if this film was very like, oh, boo-hoo, poor, incredibly privileged movie star, I would not like this film. But like you said, Baumbach is practically like poking fun at the main character occasionally throughout the entire film. And George Clooney plays him with such true sincerity. He comes across almost as like a naive toddler who is like wandering into the real world for the first time. He's portrayed as being very pampered, self-involved. He really can't do anything for himself, but Clooney somehow makes this character so lovable. And I think it comes from that genuine like desire to want to change.
Yeah, I feel like most of the film, Jay Kelly is like a fish out of water, with him, I guess, exploring the real world for once outside of his Hollywood bubble. And it's quite funny to watch him try to be human.
And speaking of genuine, the other highlight of this film is, of course, Adam Sandler, who plays Jay's longtime manager. Jay is someone who has made major sacrifices in his life to serve this kind of other calling of his. And that's also true with Sandler's character, Ron, who is constantly putting his life on hold to aid Clooney. And Sandler gives yet another performance that really capitalizes on Sandler's innate teddy bear-like kindness and vulnerability. I think he was really solid in this movie. And he wears a scarf like this.
Yes, my little homage to Puppy, to Adam Sandler. I thought Adam Sandler honestly was really fitting for this character, because I feel like he naturally radiates like good friend energy. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like he's a really good friend in real life. So it's really easy to buy into his character.
Yeah. The relationship between Sandler and Clooney is also that double-sided coin also. At times it's a genuine friendship, but then other times it could be like this superficial, transactional relationship as well. Kind of reflects that any relationship that a celebrity can have with someone can only be so deep. Jay Kelly offers a really large ensemble cast as well. Occasionally, Baumbach will have these very elaborate tracking shots, similar to something you would see in Robert Altman's The Player. Technically, it's really impressive, but I will say there were times where there are these quick dialogue exchanges that happen so quickly that I sometimes miss what these side characters were discussing. Like, there's a team of handlers within this film, which, by the way, this is like the year of handlers in movies.
Yeah, it is. We had a team of handlers in Sentimental Value. To be fair, the handler characters are a little bit more fleshed out in this film, so we get to know them a little better. I just think it's really funny for those of us who live in LA because we see this all the time. Whenever you see a celebrity, you see them like surrounded by their team of ambiguous handlers.
Yeah, one criticism I guess I would have is that I don't think Baumbach really does flesh out these characters enough for me. Like I wanted to see more of them or get to know them more. Like there's some pretty big names, like Emily Mortimer is playing a really tiny role, and there's just a lot of these handlers. They're not really given a lot to work with, and often felt more like set decoration. I think Laura Dern, really stood out in her small role as Jay's publicist and who's constantly extinguishing fires. She has some very funny lines in this. And another actor who really, I think, makes a big impression is Billy Crudup, who plays an actor with a bitter history with Jay Kelly. He has a dialogue exchange scene with George Clooney early on in the film, and the way Crudup kind of draws you in and continuously surprises you within that scene, I think was really fantastic. Like that sucked me into the film.
That was quite mesmerizing. I think that's the moment when I really locked into the film because I felt like, whoa, like this film's more layered than I expected.
Yeah.
And there's also the other actor that plays the younger George Clooney in the film.
Yeah.
And I think we have to give him credit too, and credit to casting because I don't know, instead of trying to do something crazy like de-age Clooney, they found the perfect actor. I think he plays
really
the perfect young Clooney.
Yeah, I did want to mention quickly too, a lot of this movie is Jay Kelly reflecting on his entire life as he's reaching the end of his career. So there are a lot of flashbacks in this film to like specific key moments of Jay Kelly's life where George Clooney is literally in the background of a lot of these flashback scenes, like he's quite literally watching his life. But I found that Baumbach did a really solid job with like artistically finding ways to integrate these flashbacks in ways that I found was pretty tasteful and smooth.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I love this film. I wouldn't call myself like the biggest Baumbach fan. I did love the prickly Greenberg, and I think my favorite Baumbach film was his realistic portrait of a divorce and marriage story. But Jay Kelly, I would probably place it as one of my favorite Baumbach films. But Yvette, how would you rate it?
I feel like this is like sentimental value. It's like the same setup with like a dad, an absent father in Hollywood with two daughters. They both have two daughters.
That is weird.
And then, yeah, but you know what? I feel like stylistically though, they're like on opposite sides of the spectrum.
Right.
They both work in their own right. So what did you ask me?
The rating.
Oh, yeah, the rating. I wouldn't say this film is like life-changing, but you know, sometimes you're just in the mood for something cozy that puts a smile on your face. I feel like this is one of those like lazy Sunday cozy watch movies. I want to say 7.5, but I know you don't allow
no halves here.
Halvesies. So I have to bump it up to an 8 because it did make me smile and made me laugh. I enjoyed it.
Well, if I had to give this film a half, I would probably give it an 8.5 because it's like right there for me because I just was so pleasantly surprised by it. But I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hold at an 8. But hey, you want a 7.5, I want an 8.5. Combine those together, that's 16. 8 plus 8 equals 16 anyway, so it kind of works out.
What?
So let's talk Oscars though, and I'm excited because Jay Kelly, this is why it's so important to watch the movies. Like, once I see the movies, it's like the picture becomes clear for me. But I would say Jay Kelly's definitely still in the race. The problem is I have currently in my Best Picture lineup, I have Frankenstein, which I can't boot that out. And I have Train Dreams in my lineup. And adding Jay Kelly would make it 3 Netflix films. So I would have to bump out Train Dreams to throw Jay Kelly in there. But I've been on the Train Dreams train since the beginning and I can't do it. So right now, Jay Kelly is right outside my 10, but I'm waiting for something to drop out. Like maybe this could be a year that Netflix gets 3. Sorry for interrupting your viewing experience. Editing Ryan here, and I have a quick update. The first Avatar Fire and Ash reactions have dropped, and the reactions thus far is not giving me a lot of confidence that it can secure that 10th slot in Best Picture. So Jay Kelly, I think, is looking better and better. I think I would slot that in there right now, but I'm going to watch Avatar literally today, so I'll know later today. All right, back to the review. I think Jay Kelly is going to relate to a lot of Academy members, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, the Hollywood themes, the putting career before family.
Well, exactly. Not only is J. Kelly about Hollywood, but members should relate to J. Kelly on, I would say, the sacrifices and regret. So personally, I think we are going to see that Golden Globes nomination in comedy or musical. I think George Clooney is going to get that actor nomination. Adam Sandler may get that supporting nomination as well. And then we go to Critics' Choice, and there's a chance that it snags one of those last remaining Best Picture nominations there. Maybe not as much as Golden Globes. But out of Sandler and Clooney, I think Clooney is the one who's going to be the most likely to be nominated at the Oscars. I think the supporting category is just really competitive this year. And I think there's a little bit more wiggle room in that lead category. Because again, this is a very iconic Clooney performance. The question is, though, will people feel he's stretching enough as a performer? Is the character too close for people to call it a performance? In my opinion, I absolutely think Clooney's doing some really fantastic work here, and I think part of his genius is how effortless he makes it all look. And Sandler, he's fantastic here as well. His performance, I don't think just is as showy. However, I could see both of these actors being nominated by SAG. I know Sandler's very popular with SAG voters. He got in for that basketball movie. What was that one called? He was like a coach?
I don't remember.
I can't remember what it's called. Hustle? I don't know. I don't get SAG ensemble vibes from this film, but I could easily see both actors getting nominated there. And I would love to see a credit conversation take shape. But other than that, the Academy loves Baumbach, I think mostly as a writer. They've nominated him 3 times as a writer, 0 times as a director. So I think that there is room for him to sneak up in that screenplay category this year. So in order of most likely to least, screenplay, picture, then actor, score, supporting actor. That's what I would say is the possibilities on the table.
That's a lot, actually.
Well, I don't think it's going to get all of those, but
Okay.
those are the ones that are on the table. I think it's most likely going to get like 1 to 2 or something.
Okay, well, that's what Ryan thinks about J. Kelly's Oscar chances.
That's just me, but what do you guys all think? Do you think it's going to get any Oscar love? Let us know in the comment section below.
Did you enjoy the movie?
Did you enjoy it?
Did you hate it?
And if you like this review, feel free to hit the subscribe button because we have more reviews. Links in the bio. Thanks always for watching, and until next time, we'll see you
At the Oscars.